Jersey presidential primary is little more than a week away. Last week we had surrogates for the 3 Democratic candidates. This week we have surrogates for the 5 remaining Republican candidates. State Senator Joe Carrillos is chairman of the Romney campaign in New Jersey. State Senator Bill Baroni was named chairman of the McCain campaign here this week. George Gilmore, the Ocean County Republican chairman, is chairman of the Giuliani campaign here. Paul Boudreau of Basking Ridge, a former state legislator in Maine, is Mike Huckabee's chairman in New Jersey. And Republican U.S. Senate candidate Murray Sabrin, a former Libertarian candidate for governor, is Ron Paul's official spokesperson in New Jersey. Let's start by going around the horn, and let me ask each of you why you're for the guy you're for, starting with you.
Ron Paul's been a friend of mine for more than 25 years. He's never voted for a tax increase. He's never voted to raid the Social Security Trust Fund. He's never voted to violate the civil liberties of the American people with bills like McCain-Feingold, to violate our free speech rights. He's voted down the line to protect the American people's civil liberties. He also believes in peace through strength. He was one of the first congressmen to support Ronald Reagan when he ran in 1976. When people said he was unelectable, he was a fringe candidate, he was just too extreme for the American people. So Ron Paul is the type of person we need in the White House because he does not believe in preemptive war. He believes in a humble foreign policy. He believes in a foreign policy that's worthy of a great nation, that doesn't get involved in the civil wars of other nations, and a foreign policy that believes that we have to have our border secure, make sure that we don't have illegal immigration undermining our national security. He's been there for 20 years. He's been defending the Constitution from day one, and no one has a track record like Ron Paul in preserving and protecting the American Constitution.
The other gentleman, there's a feeling that Romney might be inauthentic compared to John McCain, for example. Anybody want to grab onto that?
Well, if the label of inauthentic hits some candidate, Ron Paul is the most authentic candidate that's ever been running for the presidency.
Well, we're going to talk about Romney first. We'll get to your guy in a minute.
But the point is, the people are looking for steadiness. They're looking for steadfastness. They're looking for consistency. And that's what people look for in a presidential candidate. They don't want a president to hold his finger up to the wind and say, what are the people... Is
that what Romney has done from your vantage point?
Well, I think some people are very uncomfortable with a person changing positions depending upon which race he's in. I think Giuliani has the same position when he told voters in New York when he was running for mayor that he wants the federal government to pay for abortion. Now, that's a position, that's anathema. I think not only Republicans, but a lot of Democrats, that if you want to have an abortion, the government, the taxpayer should not.
Is there an Achilles heel to John McCain, and if so, what is it?
Yeah, I think one of the questions last night in the debate was his temperament, because that's a critical aspect of being a CEO of a company or the President of the United States.
It's rumored that he has a temper.
I think that's an understatement. I think.
Well, have you ever seen it?
Well, I've been hearing about it,
okay.
And so I think if you're going to be President of the United States, you have to be deliberate, you have to be contemplative, you have to be reflective, and you have to take advice and not be bullheaded about certain positions that you have, which may not be in the best interest of the country.
Ron Paul, or ask a question about Ron Paul, who is the one anti-war candidate still standing on in the Republican side, maybe the only one
in the race.
In the race, right. You're running for the U.S. Senate this year. Do you agree with him about the war?
Absolutely. I called my congressman, Steve Rothman, in September of 2002 when the authorization for the war was being contemplated in the Congress, and I said, Steve, please don't vote for this. This is going to turn out very badly. And I'm not a Middle East expert, but I understand politics quite well, and I saw this as a disaster for this country and a disaster for the region.
Is that why Paul has attracted the following that he has attracted, which tends to be a campus-based following, actually?
It is a campus-based following because young people know what's looking them in the face if we don't change policy over the next 20, 30, 40 years. Ron Paul is not looking at this next election as the be-all and end-all of his campaign. He's looking at the next generation and the generations beyond, because we have $50 trillion of unfunded liabilities. We have $9 trillion of debt. We have a foreign policy that we can't afford.
What percentage of the vote will he get in New Jersey?
As much as I can get out for him, but the point is, he knows this is not the end of his movement. This is a movement that he's ignited because people realize that we're on the wrong track. Everyone who's running for office knows we're on the wrong track. That's why they're in the race. You don't go into the race because you think the country's on the right track. You go into the race because the country's on the wrong track.
Joe Krillos, George Gilmore, Paul Boudreau, Murray Sabrin, Bill Baroni, thanks very much.